I am delighted to welcome onto the score Warren Feeney, who has these days been managing very successfully in Bulgaria. But I know, Warren, you're back home for Christmas. It's good to see you back on the show. How are you keeping?
I'm very good, thank you. Yeah, it's good to be back, and I'm back one day already, and running around with the kids and the wife, and going, "Can I get back?"
Oh, it's I'm sure straight back into the old habits. It's good to see everybody. Well, as much as you can, I suppose.
Yeah, it is. It's good at the moment. Obviously, it's difficult regarding the pandemic, but coming from Bulgaria, where it was a lot um, more relaxed, because we probably had our maybe a bit in front of you. We had our lockdown a while ago. We done it straight away, and going from the routine over there into here is a bit it's a bit more difficult and harder to get used to.
Now, you've been in Bulgaria a while now, so how have you settled in?
I love it. You know what? It's a year about 3 weeks ago I've been there. And it's been a difficult process, I'm being honest, because coming in just before Christmas last year, 2 games, then we went into the winter break. I think we got 5 games in, then went into the pandemic, and then the season finished, and it was just more or less building a team for the new season, and we got going. And I've probably in one year I've probably learned about 6 years how difficult it was. But as I said, it's a great challenge for me getting into their culture, and touch wood, at this moment we're going very, very well.
Once upon a time, a language barrier would be managing someone from the northwest of the country and from maybe Newry direction for someone like you, Warren. What about being out there?
No, you know what? I was a wee bit at the start, I'm not going to lie. I was out 15, 20 years ago to Sofia, and what a difference I've seen. But it's a beautiful place where we are. It's where Dimitar Berbatov was born, about 100 yards from the stadium. They've got the best youth academy for homegrown players in the country, and they've produced a lot of good players. But it's always difficult because they see a foreigner coming in. And I've tried to change everything, and the good thing is that they've a good backroom staff. I've got good people around me, and they've helped me. And at this moment, as I said, we're starting to see the success, and we're at the halfway point. We're sitting top of the league, and as I said, fingers crossed, when we go back, we can go and finish it off right.
That's exactly where you want to be, isn't it? Pirin Blagoevgrad, the team that you're with. Hopefully, I've pronounced that close to being right.
You pronounced it better than me the first time.
Yes, well, we'll take that. Everything's a win there. But as you say, top of the tree going into the Christmas period. Just how hard has that been to get the team there? Because I think it was about mid-table last season, wasn't it?
It was. They finished before the pandemic around, I think it was about 11th. But you know what? I knew what I needed. I needed better players, no disrespect to the ones that were there. I was just thinking, and over the year, I got rid of 27 players.
Wow.
7 last Christmas. And then, as I said, the majority of them in the summer. And I brought up a few kids, but I brought in 15 players, and I wanted more quality over quantity. And to be fair, the players have been brilliant. Probably a little bit tough on some of them because they're not used to what I want, the intensity of training. Getting into the culture over there, they like to keep it the way it is, the way the teams train every day. They don't get a rest, they don't get a break. They would train in the afternoon, they would train at night, even though they're full time. So I knew gradually that it would be difficult. I would get some resistance. And I changed it all the morning training. We train for an hour and a half tops. The intensity's there. The boys get their time off. And I'm not going to lie, there was a few people raised their eyebrows at me. This is not the way we do it. And I says, well, look, this is the way I do it. And I learned off a manager before. He says, do it the way you want to do it, because if you don't, you'll walk away with all the biggest regrets, thinking I should have done this. And now, those people are coming on to me, oh, we're sitting in this, and I just don't listen to, if I say we've done nothing yet. Trust me at the start. Got a good owner who's based in Boston. And yeah, as I said, it's all going well at the moment, but I know football's like, it can turn around that quick. And as I said, you brought in quality players, and the good thing is I've got two two players who played outside of Bulgaria, one at PSV Eindhoven, and one at Midtjylland, who played in Liverpool last night, I think, and obviously played in England, the two of them for Fulham. So they've seen the side of the British style, and they've been fantastic for me. They've more or less policed the changing room, and it's what, a manager wants.
Yeah, and obviously you've had that backing then. If you've been able to make such wholesale changes, they've bought into the philosophy. It's one thing appointing you, but not every manager gets that scale of backing.
No, definitely, the two people who appointed me, unfortunately, have left the club now. But they were a big, massive, the process for me to go there, and they sold it to me. Obviously, the boss is still out there, and they work, but they give me the backing, they give me the players, and you live and die by your signings. And the good thing is we're in a good position, as I said, but a long way to go. Probably it's difficult because the teams want to beat us. They see us as the big ones in the league, and it's harder with all the hype. But I'm not one to blow my own trumpet. We just keep our feet in the ground, let other people do the talking, and as I said, it's all about the players. It's getting them to do what you want. Look, you can have the best players in the world, but you've got to get them to gel. And in this moment in time, I said at the start, I don't think we would kick in until November. And we certainly did. We went on a run there of, I think it was eight wins out of 10 and one draw and one defeat. And obviously the winter break's just come, so it's killing my momentum.
You never want that break when it's going well.
No, don't. There was only 15, 16 games left. If I could play them in the next 16 weeks, I definitely would, believe me.
I'm sure when you're talking to your players, do all of them or most of them speak English, or is there a translator? How does that work?
I have a translator. Don't get me wrong, there's a couple don't speak English, but majority of them do. And, I respect the country because it's difficult, because us English and British speakers obviously think that everyone should know our language. So we're going into another country and expecting them to understand me. So, but no, look, the majority of them speak. I've got a translator, but also pick up a few words myself in Bulgarian, so I know what a couple of the words mean if I want them to stop, or the offsides and check, and the little things. So, but it is a difficult language to learn, believe me.
Well, it's just such an interesting challenge because, we've heard think of someone high profile like Gary Neville when he went out to Spain, not speaking Spanish, and the difficulties he had with Valencia. Going to Bulgaria, it's a less accessible language than Spanish.
No, definitely. I think, you know what, I never even, to be honest, thought about it. I was talking to, a very respectable person the other day in football, and says, "You're doing very well." And he said to me, "I take my hat off to you," because he said, it takes some braveness to pick up and go away to Bulgaria in a country like that, and to go in on your own at the start. And he says, "I take my hat off to you," and it probably is a big thing, but I just never thought that. I'm just the normal boy off the street from East Belfast, and it's a challenge that I believe in my ability, and it's something that if this moment in time, but I've still a long way to go. And probably being at Linfield, I learned a lot regarding being at Linfield with the job and with the expectations there, and it set me in good stead.
When you initially were approached, it sounds like you just were like, "Yes, I'm ready, let's go." Was there nobody saying, "Warren, hold on a wee second here, are you sure you want to do this?" Because I'm sure a lot of people were thinking, "The boy's mad."
Yeah, there was a lot of people, believe me. My mum, my dad was my dad as usual. It's football, you've got to go. And obviously it was at Ards at the time, and when the phone call come, it was a wee bit Bulgaria. I went at the start, and then I went, "Yeah, I'm going to have a look at it." Went out, and it's such a beautiful place, really, really nice on the mountainside. But the thing is, for me, it's football. It's back into full-time football, and you've got to believe in your ability. Get players playing for you is the big thing. I'm a manager, and I learned of probably the best team in the world at the minute. He's managing, and he says, "Get your players on side." And he still said to me, "There's no right, there's no wrong. Just be honest." And it's the one thing I've took with him, and That's my managerial style. I always try and be honest with the players. I don't like to give them too much information. Don't volunteer a lot because you'll tie yourself up. But if someone's not playing, I'll tell them why they're not playing. Because I've had managers myself, who beat around the bush and you work hard, you're doing this, you're doing that. But as a player, you only look after yourself and think, well, why am I not playing? So I try and be honest from the start with them. And, I think that's what helped me when I went out. Obviously, it was difficult getting out on my own, but I've got to believe and be brave enough to do that and earn the respect straight away.
Yeah, and well, so far, top of the table, it's obviously starting to pay dividends. Northern Ireland have been drawn in Bulgaria's World Cup qualifying group, so Ian Barclough might be hitting you up soon here for some top tips.
No, he's more than welcome, Ian, and I'm glad Northern Ireland's through Bulgaria because they're a population of 7 million, and the amount of abuse I have to take out there that Bulgaria is better than Northern Ireland, but I just say we just keep looking up at you at the rankings. We're about 20 places higher than you, and we'll always be that. So I'm glad if I can help in any way, and keep them quiet for a while because they see their country is a lot better than ours. But I beg to differ. Don't get me wrong; it'll be a difficult game. They've got very good players. Technical, there's 3 outside the Bulgaria top league who play. And as I say, one is at Michelin's probably the best player. The boy Krastev, who Man City have signed, he's only 18, and they loaned him straight back to Slavia. But they signed him for their team, Lamel. But he's a decent player. He went for about £2 million. But the majority of the other ones are all Bulgarian. Obviously, Ian will do his homework. I know the captain of Bulgaria very well, Peter Zanev. His son's in our academy, and he's a local boy. So, as I said, it'll be a tough game, but it's one that'll be they will frustrate. It's a lot slower, the league. But, there's no bad teams in international football. Our director of football as well at the moment, son, is in the Bulgarian national team. So, there's a lot on this for me out here.
He's obviously your favourite player.
Yeah, he's the right back, so he is Strahil Popov. He's out in Turkey at the moment. But yeah, look, I'd love some of my boys in there, and I think they deserve it. I'm not sure regarding the manager at the moment. The Bulgarians talk he's going to lose his job, and the manager at Chernomore in the top league will get it. But look, I have a player who scored 16 goals in 16 games, and every interview I've done out there, I've said he should be given a chance, but they don't like the change. They like to keep it the way it is. And as I said, look, when it comes to it, if anyone needs any help, I'm out there. I'll be watching games left, right, and centre. I'm more than happy to do that and help, obviously, Northern Ireland.
Who's this goal scorer of yours? What's his name?
His name's Preslav Yordanov. He's 31, but he's an old-fashioned centre forward, believe it or not. Loves the trains every day. And he's hit 16 goals in 16 games, which at any level is phenomenal. Joy to work with, and I must admit, I've got good players. I spoke to a couple of my contacts in England regards one of my boys as a midfielder who I think could go and play 100% top of League One's, touching the Championship. It's just people giving them the chance. Their attitudes. The one thing I get out there, the attitude of them is very, very good. It's, I've come across players in England who, and I was reading this story on Alex Ferguson today about Pogba. And don't get me wrong, Pogba's a top player. But he just says at a young age he came in with the Armani, the reserve gate at Altrincham, and Armani and the Gucci headphones and all this hair and hats. And, I must admit out there, they train very, very well. Their attitudes are top class. Very, very good technically. But the one secret weapon I think Northern Ireland can be the intensity, can hurt them.
Oh, look forward to that. I kind of hope that Bulgaria don't pick your big striker. No offence, by the sounds of that, he's a bit of a threat.
Yeah, well, he is. To be fair, he's actually a British style, as I said, you centre forward, but he's also technically very, very good.
I can tell by the smile on your face you're really enjoying your time there as well.
Yeah, you know what? I love it. They've been fantastic to me. And I mean that very, very well looked after. Very well looked after everyone in the club, and I've got me on physio out now. Who's British? Who's from Scotland? Obviously, my assistant Andy left. He went back to England there about five weeks ago. But I've got good staff. Regards. What I want over there, what help I need off them, and the good thing, they're all mates. We're all mates. Obviously, if things need to be said, things will be said. But we're a good bunch, and the most important is the first team. And I must admit, if I'm in the gym every day, but I've never had as much salads in my life. And I'm actually come home to Northern Ireland thinking I'll go into the fry up, and straight away my wife's going to me, "What, you're eating your cucumbers and your tomatoes? I'm just used to it for breakfast." Even around to my mum's the other day, she was like, "Bacon and eggs." I said, "I don't want it." Sort of a continental breakfast, please. So it's rubbing off on me somewhere.
Warren, that sounds awful like when Michael Hughes came back from France.
So I can imagine. It's every day, you know what I mean? And where I was laughing because, you go out for your dinner out there, they'll maybe bring your starter out before your main. But everything's so slow and relaxed where they'll sit there for 2 hours, just eat, just chill out, they've got a local drink called Rake. And they actually say it's good medicine for COVID. It's about 7% pure alcohol.
Wow.
But they sit there and they make it themselves, they drink it. But we laugh because us Brits obviously go abroad and they eat the food as quickly as they can. They knock 10 pints into them. These ones just sit there and relax, have a couple of Rakes, eat their salads, and then go home and enjoy the rest of the night. So it's getting into the cultures, and I can see that, what Hughes, I can imagine when he come back from France, he was the exact same because, as I said, I'm trying to learn the language, and I respect it, and I'm in a different country, and I respect everyone out there.
What's the big goal for you? Obviously, promotion's the immediate one. If you could win the championship and get promotion, that's going to be massive. But long term, could you see yourself being out there for years to come, or what would be next?
You know what? I would love to get in the top league. I'm not going to lie. A team came in for me to go manage in there about 7 weeks ago. It would have been closer to my home, but I've built something out there, and in the middle of it, and I want to carry it on. We're in a good position. If we get into that top league, you've the likes of Ludogorets, who's won the league 10 years in a row, CSK Sofia, Levski Sofia, Lokomotiv Plovdiv, who played Spurs. You've unbelievable teams. Alan Pardew's just joined CSK Sofia, and I've been in contact with him already. So it would be fantastic for me and for my CV to, get a promotion into that league. And as I say, once you're in there, I don't want to stay there. I know it's difficult, but you want to go as far as you can. You want to attack it. And as I say, if I get up and then hopefully get into the league and then, attack it. But my aim is this moment to try and do that, keep our feet firmly on the ground. But it's a fantastic club, as I said, and it's something that I want to do. The long term, I think in football is difficult. Nowadays, the longest manager in Bulgaria is actually 3 years. Ludogorets had six managers in 2 years, and they've won the league 10 years in a row. So it just shows you what's expected. But as I say, they're a fantastic club as well, fantastic training facilities, and it's something that it does excite me.
Yeah, and particularly those teams you mentioned, when you see them in European football, it shows you the avenue there, because Ludogorets have represented the country very well when they've got into Europe.
Oh, they've got a B team in our league, and obviously we go over to their training ground, but their training facilities are probably the top 6 I've ever seen. They are that good. And they've obviously players. They've brought a lot of players in from Brazil and, all around, and Romania. They're a very, very good side. Play football the right way. Probably the most intense, to be honest. They're outside Bulgaria. Because as I said, you have a lot of foreign players. But you just have to look at the European. They're in Europe every year, and but also you got to look at the Sofias. They're the big teams for me. Levski, CSK still. The most crowds, and it's something that you want to get into.
Yeah, most certainly. And in terms of like from your time in the Irish League, obviously with Linfield and Ards, just how different the landscape is Bulgaria. Obviously, you have a full-time setup.
No, it is. It's something I wanted to do at Linfield, and as I said before, Linfield hadn't won the league in 3 years, and I knew that they needed a change. People forget I walked out of Linfield when they were top of the league, and it was a decision I made because I probably would have stayed. The day I left, they offered me a 2-year deal, and I think if they offered me 10 days before, I'd have stayed. But I was building something there as well, and I knew we'd win the league within 3 years. You look at Jurgen Klopp. It was 4 years, Liverpool, and you just don't, turn a switch on and think it's going to happen. But I was believing in what I was doing, and get into the football full-time side of it, which you see a lot of the teams are doing over here now. It's something that I think they should be doing, because you're going into Europe against these teams, even the Faroe Islands teams now. There's no easy games in them. You know what I mean? I watched the game against Glentoran in Europe this year, and the Glens got through, but you could see the fitness levels of the Faroese, even that's where summer league, to where we were. So I think we've got to give ourselves every single chance now, and it would be fantastic to see more Irish League teams do it. I know Larne's doing it, and they're holding a very strong team at this moment in time. We're in for a cracking game tomorrow night. But as I said, it's something that I'm used to all my life, and it's something that players should want to buy into as full-time football.
In terms of, where you're at, I mean, is that somewhere else Irish League players could be looking at? Should they be looking at different European leagues to spread their wings? And should clubs in Europe be looking at some of our top Irish League players rather than just the old get into England scenario?
100%, because the one thing that they've got's intensity. I said it, what I loved, I gave wee Paul Smith his debut at Linfield, and what I loved about the kid at 16, he just gets hit, he gets up, gets on with it. In men's football, Gavin White, in men's football, not coming up through academies, not, going through the YTS system then, and in 2 years, they're playing men's football straight away in Europe. And to be honest, I wouldn't be scared to take players. The only difficult is, it's probably the homesickness for them. It's difficult for them to move across. That's one thing you've got to take. I know Joel Cooper at this moment's going to England, as he might be coming home. But it's one thing you've got to overcome. And that is my only worry, because you know what Northern Ireland's like. Everyone loves their home and everyone wants to see their mommy and daddy. So, and knows everyone else. But it's that step you've got to take. But football-wise, definitely, you know what I mean? Obviously, it'll take you time to adjust into the physicality and the full-time environment. But I don't see why not. I'm a believer. It's probably one thing in my career that I regret was not going abroad and playing, because I would love to have done it. And just as I said, it's the different cultures you get used to.
Yeah, well, you're doing it now as a manager. You took that leap of faith, and so far so good. It's great to see. And maybe a wee cup game against Alan Pardew would be a nice one if it came about.
Yeah, it would be. As I said, look, I spoke to him, and we're going to have after the winter break, we're going to go for dinner, and I think you got to lean on people like that, because being out there, and he's another British person. If we've got contacts with them and regarding players, you're stupid if you don't. And as I said, we'll go and have dinner first, and then hopefully get them in the cup and beat them after.
I would love to see a Warren Feeney, Alan Pardew dance off. I think that's what the world needs.
I wouldn't want. If you're looking at the CSK fans, believe me, you wouldn't. Very, very passionate. And that's a good thing as well, which I like out there. The fans are proper fans, very, very passionate about their teams. And honestly, I'm really enjoying it. It's a fantastic place. The kids, the family's been over, and they've been well looked after. And it was funny, they came over last February, and obviously they were out all summer, but it was about 17 degrees in February, and my kids are straight down to the pool, and people standing with amazement. I'm going, what's wrong? They're going, it's freezing. said 17 degrees. We'd be sunbathing in Belfast. It's still classed as their winter because obviously the snow and the ski resorts open, but typical Belfast one straight away into the water at 17 degrees, and so they look on in amazement.
So everyone's on the touchline in their suits, Warren, and you're there in a pair of shorts. Is that what we're saying?
You know what? You're spot on, Michael. To be honest, I come in every morning in the winter with my jumper on, my shorts, my flip flops, and then get my kit. And that's the truth. They used to just stand and look at me, and just think, is this person for real? But it's just something that I like. I like to feel relaxed and I like to feel loose. But you know what's funny? Being back at this moment, I actually feel colder over here. And when I left there, it was -7.
Wow.
But it's the wind chill here. It's a lot colder where there you get up, you're used to it. But I thought the wind was a bit colder here,
Are you going to be able to take in a game over Christmas, or are you planning to go see an Irish League match?
Yeah, I'm going to try and get as many as I can. Look, I love the football. I watch the games on the BBC. I join in. As I said, I'm not great with the laptops, but I joined in the BBC app on my laptop, and I watch as many as I can and enjoy it. I still take a big interest in the football, and yeah, I'm going to try and get as many as I can. I'm going to go down and watch my cousin as well at Lee at Bangor and see how he's getting on. So,
well, there you go. Our listeners in Bangor have to keep a wee eye out for you. Obviously, everything's still socially distanced, but they'll be just so glad to get back. Obviously, anybody outside the elite status clubs have been hit so hard this year, Warren, as you know.
Oh, it's been horrible, and I'm in a few WhatsApp groups with people and even friends, just junior football, and even the wee boys at Glentoran, and he can't at this moment in time, and it's horrible. And look, I totally understand and the frustrations of people, but we are in a bad pandemic, and safety is first and foremost the best. But look, I'll be so glad and a relief to just get out and yourself, a sport and football especially, the minds just come off everything and go and enjoy it.
Yeah, well, you're a man who I'm sure every manager feels pressure, but you never really show it, Warren. You've always got a big smile on your face. You always look like you're enjoying it for the most part. So I don't know what your secret is, but keep doing it.
When you have 4 kids and 4 dogs running around, that's pressure. But no, football, just go and enjoy it. Whatever it'll be. That's the way I look at it.
It's a brilliant message to finish on. Lovely catching up with you, and hopefully bump into you over the Christmas period. Warren Feeney, thank you for coming on The Score.
Brilliant. Top man, thank you.